want to give a special thanks to Breyer for sending this product to us for free. I was looking at these Breyer horse painting kits, and I had an idea on how we can use them for the dollhouse. This is such a pretty model. It looks like a statue. I have 2 of the same horse. Take some recycled paperboard, place the horses on top. I have a little bit of space between them. Lightly sketch a circle around them. Go back with something round to even out your circle. Repeat to make several. Cut them out. I cut out a total of 10 circles. I'm using a glue stick to add a generous amount of glue. We want to make sure we get all the way to those edges. Be generous. Good coverage. That's what we're looking for here. All right, and now we're going to place another circle on top, doing our best to line up those edges. Then repeat, stacking circle after circle until they're all stacked and glued. Now we just need to wait for this to dry. Once dried, use a nail file to smooth the rough edges. I got it as smooth as I can. That took a while. It was a lot of sanding. I take the Breyer horses, and I'm gonna glue them right onto the circle. Put a little space between them, but make sure they are completely on the circle. I'm using hot glue. Allow them to dry. Take gold paint. This is just a basic acrylic paint, and I'm going to paint the horses and the base gold. Now this is definitely going to take a few coats. We have to take our time and get into all of those little nooks and crannies. After painting a thin coat, allow it to dry. Now I'm adding a second coat. This is coat number 3. That looks pretty good. We just need to wait for it to dry. While waiting, take clear plastic from packaging, use something round to trace a circle. I'm using a dry erase marker to draw on the plastic. I carefully remove the item that I traced, cut on the line drawn, clean the plastic. I am checking on our horses and they are nice and dry. I sealed the paint with a clear nail polish and it was very smelly. These horses are large. It was a lot of paint. I highly suggest doing this in a well-ventilated area. Now we're going to glue the clear plastic right on top. And it feels like the top of their neck is the highest point right here on their mane. So that's where we're going to glue down the plastic. I'm using a little drop of hot glue. We don't want any strings. We're trying to be neat here. I do believe that's the top. I hope that's the top. Now let's get the plastic. Come on, we gotta be fast. And very carefully place it on top. Hopefully that was centered. I hope. The nail polish does keep the paint sealed. It's nice and shiny. It's got a nice little acrylic finish. I allowed it to dry overnight. However, it does such a good job of protecting the horse that it is possible to remove the clear plastic. So it's on there. It's pretty good, but if you add too much pressure, the glass might tip. So there you have it. Now we have our fancy little gold horse table. We can use it for a coffee table or a large end table. I'm probably going to use it as a coffee table. And now I want a new couch. We have some recycled cardboard. It's a pretty large piece. I place my table onto the cardboard and I'm just going to sketch a circle around it. Or like a semicircle. I want a rounded couch. So that will be the space between the edge of the couch and the coffee table. Now let's sketch the seat. I usually make mine around 3 inches, maybe a little less. I'm just eyeballing this. I've got my ruler and look at that, I'm pretty close. Now I'm just gonna go all the way around making sure it is even. Yeah, I was totally off right here. This might be a little large, so I'm just gonna take it like right here, and let's take it on a diagonal. Nah, let's do it more like this. Around the edges on the front, then carefully cut it out. You know what? I have a feeling that when I put the back on, I'm gonna make my seat too short, so I just added about 1/2 of an inch to the back. Now we can cut it out. Once it's cut out, trace it onto another piece of cardboard and cut it out again. So now we have two, one for the top and one for the bottom. And I cut a long rectangle of cardboard for the back. This is about 5 inches wide. Let's bend it several times. You want to bend it every little like corrugated section, I guess. Then measure it to the back of our cutout, mark it, and trim off the excess. Let's trim the corners to make a little curve, but only for the top 2 corners. I cut a piece of cardboard, place it on the cutout, and we're gonna make little marks so we know where to cut. Cut on the line marked. Glue it onto the cutout. I'm using hot glue to attach it. Continue to make several, then glue the other cutout on top. I feel like this is a little tall, so let's quickly take off the top. There we go. Let's take each one down by 1/2 an inch. So now our cardboard will be about 2.5 inches tall. Cut on the line drawn. Re-glue down the top. Yeah, I like that height a lot better. Take fleece, and I'm going to just glue this going all the way around the front. Adding lines of glue onto the cardboard, then carefully pushing the fleece onto it as I go around the edge. On the top, I went across the front, on the sides, and on the back just a little. Now I'm going to turn it over, stretch the fabric, and glue it down. Trim off the excess. I cut a piece of fleece to go on top. Very carefully, just apply glue to the edge, then glue down the fleece. Take the long piece of cardboard, cut a large piece of fleece that can wrap around it. I use a needle and thread to sew along the curve and down the sides. Repeat on the other side, leaving the bottom open. Trim off the excess, remove the cardboard, flip it inside out, place the cardboard back inside. I'm gonna add a little fluff in it, just so we can get an idea of what it's going to look like. Push all the fluff to the top, then put this part in front. And I think we should make the back a little shorter. When I place my doll on it for size, it's actually a good height, but for the look I want, I think we need to go just a little shorter. So I remove the cardboard and I cut 1/2 an inch off the bottom. So now this is 4.5 inches tall. I removed all of the fluff, and here are my 2 pieces. This is the back of my couch, and here is the seat. Before we stuff it, I want to make a cover using this fabric. This fabric has a little bit of stretch. It's fuzzy, and I want to make sure the grain is pointing down. I turn it over so the good side is facing down, place the cardboard on top, trace around it, cut around the line drawn. I turn my fabric over, then lay the pattern onto it so it's good side to good side. Cut around it. Now I'm going to use my sewing machine to sew on the line drawn. I went across the top, around the curve, and down the side, and then just a little bit on the bottom corner, on both sides. Trim off the excess, turn it inside out, and set it aside. For the seat, take a long strip of fabric, and we're just gonna drape it around the front. Trim off the excess to make a long rectangle. Place the seat upside down onto the fabric, trace around it, cut on the line drawn. When I was tracing it, I did leave a little bit of a seam allowance so that we can sew the two pieces together. Using my sewing machine, I carefully sew around the edge. For me, it was a little tricky getting around those curves, so you can totally sew this by hand if you feel like it'll give you more control. Make a couple of cuts around the curves to release the tension. Flip it inside out. Let's place it onto the seat so we can see how it will look and if we got everything lined up all right. It's like the moment of truth, I guess. That's a pretty decent edge. It's not terrible. I want the seat to have a little more cushion on top and to be a little rounded right here. Let's remove the cover and add some batting on top or some artificial snow if you have that laying around. And I'm kind of rolling the part that goes over the edge so it's a little puffier on the side, you know, where your legs rest. Place the cover back on top. I'm gonna turn it around and first glue down the top right onto the edge of the cardboard using my hot glue gun. Now we have to carefully push it into the glue and avoid the fingers. Now I pull the material. I'm gonna start gluing it down on the front. Let's add a little extra fluff in there. Then glue it down and try to smooth out those wrinkles. It's all dry. Let's flip it over. I got a wrinkle right there. Is there any way to smooth it out? Nope, I'm kind of stuck with it. Okay, it was bothering me, so I pulled it up and I'm tightening it. All right, that looks a little better. Now we take the back of the couch. I'm gonna add fluff underneath the fleece just at the top, going all the way across. I sketch a line on the cardboard, add glue, then carefully glue down the fleece. And I'm gonna glue down the sides really well. I want some really good contact there. Now I'm going to add some fluff to the back, then fold over and glue down the fleece on the other side. Now we're going to glue this piece on top to finish it off. Place it inside the cover. On the side where we only stuffed the top, I make sure to add a lot of glue right here on the sides, the lower sides, and I press and hold to make sure the glue goes through all of the fleece and the fabric, and we just have a nice solid contact right there. Repeat on the other side, then fold over the top and glue it down, and pull up the bottom and glue it down. I have totally lost my curve. Let's hope we can get it back. Since we glued down the sides right here really good, this is where we're going to attach it to the seat. Add a generous amount of glue to that area, then line it up and glue it on to the seat. Hold firmly until it dries to make a miniature plush rounded couch. It has kind of a modern 80s vibe. Place the horse table in front. Add poster or scrapbook paper for a floor. We can use one of our foam board walls for a background. Let's drape some leftover fabric right over the wall to look like long drapes. I found these lights at Target. I hang them over the wall, so we just see two hanging down. I'm bringing in a rug from one of our Amazon hauls. Let's put it right under our horse table. I'm gonna do a little bit of an angle there and put the horses right about there. Actually, I think I want to go in a different direction. I got this peel and stick glam fur from the dollar store like forever ago. I'm going to stick it onto some cardstock, trim off the excess paper to make a fuzzy rug for the room. Let's bring in one of my favorite plants. This is our bird of paradise from our 3 easy paper plants video. Let's put it behind the couch. This is the side table from our 14 quick crafts video. I'm gonna put it right on the side of the couch. Let's place our spider plant on the table, which is also from our 3 paper plants video. Let's add the paintings from our Andy Warhol video to bring in a little more color. We definitely got that posh 80s vibe going. Let's bring in a marble column just to seal the deal. We made these in our toilet paper roll crafts video. I'm just gonna set it right here in the front, then take an unpainted briar horse and place it right on top for a statue. And I'm trying to keep the horse in the frame of the curtain so it can stand out. And I'm gonna close off this side with a window. This is the window from a kitchen video that we did a long time ago. The kitchen is no longer being used. We renovated it, turned it into something else, and this is the window that was left over. It's like a trifold that is easy to store, so we can move it around and put it wherever we need it to be, which is right here today, completing our modern 80s inspired room. Thank you for joining us while we did a little miniature decorating, turning stablemates into dollhouse furniture and accessories. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and follow us on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff and the Frog Vlog. And we will see you next time. Bye! It's time to wake up.